hold on,
There we
hold on, Seamus. I'm glad you're in here. I'm glad you're here. Can you see the full screen?
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know I was gonna pop in here so quick. I
yeah,
thought I was gonna just pop in and like you guys would see me at the bottom. I could.
yeah. I just for the viewers who were not in the stream, tonight's player spotlight: Payton Pritchard, 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists. Payton Pritchard shot 10 of 20 from the field, 7 of 15. He has now scored 20 or more points in 6 of his last 7 games. Payton Pritchard tonight, fellas, terrific. I've already heard from Brendan and Franco. Seamus, I'd like to hear from you about Payton Pritchard tonight.
Well, I got to be honest right now. I didn't see much of the game because I just got back to place here, and I was at for those who don't know, I was at the Notre Dame UConn game tonight. So I got the jacket on here. Notre Dame came out with a great win, 11-point win. So I didn't see much of the Celtics game at all, although I know we were up 20 for most of the second half. But in terms of Payton Pritchard, I can talk on some of his most recent performances. And Justin, this kind of is answering the question for us. This is answering the question.
No.
This is answering the question of is he going to just be an average role player or can he be?
I answered the question for you the other day. I said, yes, this is who Payton Pritchard is now. He is above his average. He is going to be above his average. The only thing that you could possibly say about this is, well, it wasn't against a big-time matchup. It wasn't against a big-time team. It was the Detroit Pistons. You could
Okay, well, yeah, you can say that about this one. That is correct. It's not a big-time team, not a big-time matchup. I still believe Pritchard. He needs to put more of this on his resume for us to really, really, really believe it. But he's doing that right now. He did it against the Grizzlies. He did it, of course, again tonight against the Detroit Pistons. I know those. I'm really the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are one of the more underrated teams in the entire NBA right now. I mean, they beat us, and I believe they were like 7-2 in their last 9 coming in against us. Might have been. They might have had 1 more or 2 more games in between that record, but right now with Payton Pritchard, I think the question is the beginning of the season Pritchard, is that really himself, or is it right now what we're seeing? Because even what we're seeing right now, in my opinion, is still a small sample size. But within that small sample size, it's starting to become an every game occurrence outside of the Milwaukee game. And the reason I picked on him during that Milwaukee game is that was the only time we could pick on him. We can't pick on him during a 27-point performance. We can't pick on him during a 25-point, 29-point performance like he's been putting up.
You don't have to pick on him at all, Seamus.
But when you score 0 points, the question has to be asked, are you closer to that 10-point per game score? Or are you closer to that 25-point per game score, which 25 might be a little bit too much. Maybe say 20-point per game score. But 25, I mean, 27 tonight, he is getting up towards that number right now. But I think Payton Pritchard, really, he needs to put more of this on his resume in order for us to really certify him as that player in the long run, because it is still a short sample size at this moment in time. It's just it is becoming more of a reality than not a reality that he is this type of player. It's just the fact of he's only been doing this for 3 weeks, and we want to see it for 3 months. We want to see it for 4 months. We want to see it for a full year. That's really my question. I have nothing against Pritchard. I have nothing against playoff P's with Paul George, but let's face it, Payton Pritchard, he's going to be playoff P later this year.
Paul George might not even be in the playoffs this year, Seamus. So
the play-in P, that's who he'll be. But Payton Pritchard, he's been impressive. Don't get me wrong.
So, okay, first of all, our little debate picked up some traction here. So I just want to say, like, I don't disagree with what you were trying to say. I think you used the word regression, and I think the word regression was just a poor choice of words to use. I
go back on that conversation or that debate that we had, and I'm like, Justin is just too hung up on the word regression right now.
Because it's a preposterous word to use off of one game, and I will stand by that. He definitely what's the synonym? What's the opposite of progress, right? He's
Yeah.
definitely progressing. I mean, he's progressing every night. He's progressing. Since you made that comment about him degressing, I keep on wanting to say degrease, but
Is
degressing.
degressing a word? Is that even a word? We need
You
the
used
comment
it.
section to come up with the
Oh no,
dictionary right now.
regress. You use regress.
Yes.
Regress is what you use. I don't know why I kept saying that, but you use that word, and ever since then, he's progressed. So maybe you need to start using that word more and more, because we're not going to see performances. Maybe you should probably start using that word on a guy like, I don't know, Baylor Shireman, Xavier Tillman.
Baylor
How are you
Shireman.
going to use
Baylor Shireman can't regress because there's nowhere to regress to.
How is a rookie going to get worse?
He's doing trick shots.
Well, we've seen it before with Tyreek Evans. Is one of his best years in his career was his rookie year. I mean, he did have a great year in 18-19, I will say. Shout out Tyreek Evans. Who else? Michael Carter-Williams.
Baylor Sherman's career hasn't even started yet.
No, he's banned. He's okay. In all seriousness, I will say though, and Seamus, I mentioned this earlier, the whole Payton Pritchard thing right now is great. But just like last year, if you guys remember, we were blowing out teams, like absolutely torching teams. And the big thing was, okay, like we know we're going to do this to teams. Are we going to do this to teams come April, May, June? Is that when we're going to do it? That's kind of where I'm at with Payton Pritchard. It's like we know Payton Pritchard's capable of doing this. Pretty much, at least he's proven to us this past near month on an every night basis. Is he going to be able to do this in April, in May, potentially June if Boston can get that far again? It's very tough to do in back-to-back seasons, but is Payton Pritchard going to be able to do this? Then you also kind of bring up the point where, well, he might not be getting the same opportunity that he's getting right now. Will we be able to see Payton Pritchard for 35 plus minutes on a nightly basis come playoff time? I don't know. So I will say that it's great to see Payton Pritchard doing this pretty much on an every night basis, but I would like to see this continue from him, especially going into the playoffs.
I got to say, though, I saw you guys texting in the group chat earlier about how the Celtics sometimes wait until Payton Pritchard comes into the game to really get it going. And
there goes Franco with the hand raise again.
It is like, on one hand, it is positive that Payton Pritchard is doing this as a sixth man of the year candidate, as somebody off the Celtics bench. I don't think any of us really pictured, somebody's going to come off the Celtics bench and almost average 25 a game over a month stretch this year. I mean, obviously the person to do that would be Pritchard if it was anybody, maybe Sam Hauser in a random streak, I would say. But we weren't thinking somebody was going to produce off the bench like Pritchard is right now. So that's a positive for the Celtics. But there is almost this dependency on Payton Pritchard to put up those numbers every night. And that's a little concerning for the Celtics because last year, really, those numbers were coming from guys like Derek White, Drew Holiday. You could even say Kristaps Porzingis more so. And it's just not really coming from those guys much this year, as much as it is from Pritchard. And I think we have to get those guys going more than anything else if we really want to be up to that championship level that we were last year. Now, theoretically, this team should be better than they were last year because I think those same guys can perform at the level they were last year because a lot of those points they were getting, like Derek White. Now, Derek White, he was attacking the rim a lot in the early season last year, but near the end of the year, it was those corner threes, those wing threes, those wide open threes, Tatum and Brown collapsing the defense, White from the corner, Drew Holiday from the corner, Kristaps Porzingis, he can work both inside and out. If we can get those guys going more often than not, plus what Payton Pritchard can do off the bench, this team can excel beyond where they were last season. It's just right now, some of those other guys aren't necessarily carrying the same exact weight as they were last year. And I don't want to say it's concerning because we're still winning and we're 20-5 and we really are on pace with last year. And we were actually better than last year 2 games ago before we lost the Memphis game. We were on better pace than last year. And now we're on the same pace. So I can't say we can't complain too much about it. It's just, I guess the scoring really, what we see is it's coming from other sources this year and other, uh, I would say, other methods of scoring, because you can even say Jason Tatum too. Tatum and Brown last year, they were kind of going back and forth. And even you could tell last year the team was, I don't want to say, I almost use the word slack out here because I don't think that's the correct word to use, but it wasn't as
Good
much
job.
of
Good
Tatum
catch.
as it was
Good catch.
everybody. No, well, I was gonna say picking up the slack for Tatum, but I don't want to say Tatum and Brown were slacking last year. It was like they were deferring to the rest of their guys, letting the rest of the talent take out what they needed to take out in terms of scoring and producing offensively. And essentially this year, like, you have Tatum, he's in the MVP conversation. He's averaging 30 a game, or upwards of 30 a game. And at this point last year, he wasn't quite at that level. He was
Mm.
close to it, but he is more of the offense this year than he was last year. So it's like the Celtics are doing the same exact thing in terms of putting up results from last year. It's just it's coming from different sources and it's coming through different methods. And sometimes that can rub us the wrong way because we kind of look at it and go, "Oh, this is the same team. Should be playing out in the same way." Yet they've kind of the Celtics. I don't want to say they switched things up or anything like that, because
Yeah.
they still have the same method of how they want to score the ball. It's just different players are doing it, and it's kind of the allocation of where it's going is just a bit different. So it's not really a concern. It's just something to watch, really, as the
Mhm.
season goes on, how it plays out.
Well, we're going to get to see how that plays out on Sunday night, where the Boston Celtics are back on the road. I believe they're in the nation's capital. I believe it's a road to the Celtics. So they'll be playing the
We don't want to be
Washington.
that team. We don't want to
Yeah,
be
we don't
that
want to be.
team.
We don't want to be we don't want to pull a Denver Nuggets here, do we? Back in action. Another is off rest. That's great for guys. And Sam Hauser and your boy Jaden Springer, Seamus, who missed tonight's action. Tough ad on the injury report tonight. But 6:00 p.m. tip off for the Celtics and Wizards. We'll have you guys covered for Celtics post game live, probably anywhere between 8:00, quarter after 8ish. Come right back here on the Celtics Talk Weekly YouTube channel, or if you're watching it on Instagram Live, we've been trying to rock and roll on the Instagram Live as well. Give you guys kind of a more diverse kind of pick your poison type thing.